The dollar bill, I know you've heard it before, but you've never heard it like this. This is going to be a very interesting video. It's going to help wake people up, or you can give it to someone who's already awoke to arm them to wake people up. So, the fact that the dollar bill exists at all is a conspiracy already. How so? Well, because there was a time when people actually used real precious metals as currency. And that was taken from us, and we were given a flimsy-ass, worthless piece of paper, monopoly money, essentially, in place of that. So the fact that we think that it's money is the only reason it's really worth anything. It's not actually worth anything at all. But today we're going to primarily be focused on the symbology of the dollar bill. So when we look at the front of the dollar, at the very top, it's going to say Federal Reserve Note. Now what's wrong with that? The Federal Reserve is not federal. Okay? Would take too long to get into all that, but the fact that the Federal Reserve Note is above the United States of America is telling you who really runs the show. We're going to look at the lettering of the United States of America. We're going to notice that it's shadowed lettering. What shadowed lettering means is it's letting you know that the United States of America has happened before. So there's the shadow of America. We live in the rebirth of the Roman Empire. Okay, we live in Mystery Babylon, and that is a hint to that the lettering is shadowed. On the top right-hand side, we have an owl. Some people think it's just an error in the bill, and those people live in La La Land. But what is an owl, and how is it symbolic to the occult? Some people believe the owl is Felondine, okay, which means transform. It goes back to a star constellation. It's said to have a connection to the other side. It can mean silence and wisdom. It can go back to Greek goddesses. It can be the keeper of secrets. And if you say the word owl in Latin, I'm not going to say it correctly, string for meese, meaning witches and vampires. So to the occult, the owl is very, very, very significant, okay? Which would make sense that they would put it on there. So below the owl, it's going to say Washington, D.C. What's wrong with Washington, D.C.? Well, Washington, D.C. lays on ley lines. The maps of the streets, there's pentagrams in the streets, the way that it was designed. And Washington, D.C. is not in the United States of America. It's not in Canada. It's just kind of like in its own little place, which is very, very strange. So Washington, D.C. is very much shrouded in mystery. Now, beneath Washington, D.C., we have the Department of the Treasury. Okay, the symbol is a shield. The shield means protection. Above it is a balance. The balance means law and order. Beneath it is a chevron with 13 stars. The chevron symbolizes rank, okay? That's why you see it all over military and law enforcement. Beneath that is a key. The key means the opening and closing of doorways. What that means is the physical realm to the spiritual realm, okay? The fact that there's a circle around this means forever. These people believe in reincarnation. They are occultists. And so when they put a circle around something, they're saying that it's forever. As we move to the left, we're going to see a picture of George Washington. And people have a lot of conspiracy theories about him and who he really was. But when you actually look at the picture and you look at the shading of the picture, some people see symbols in it. There are very much symbols there. They're hard to make out. If you happen to see a particular symbol, go ahead and leave it in the comments. Now, beneath George Washington, there's leaves. Those particular leaves go back to Greece, and they are a status of high society. Someone who's high in society would have those particular leaves on them. Beneath George Washington, it says $1. When you look at the word dollar, it means one from a valley. When you look up the word valley in the occult, what this actually means is immortal. So it means one immortal. The immortal one that they're speaking of here is in fact Satan himself. Then we're going to go to the fig branches that are surrounding all of this. The fig represents man-made religion and false righteousness. This goes back to the Pharisees in Scripture, okay? Now, as we turn the dollar bill over, we're going to start with the right side of it, and we're going to notice that there is a hexagram, okay? The word hex means 6, so we have 6 points of the star. There are 13 stars that make up one star, and that star happens to have 6 points. The word hex is kind of like the word spell. This is why the occult loves this particular symbol all around the world. And I even have some charts that tell me this is the most powerful satanic symbol in all existence. And I believe it. But what it means is it goes to the planet Saturn. Now you can keep going with that and see who the god of Saturn is. And seek and ye shall find, okay? Don't look because you'll find it. Now, we're also going to notice that this symbol is kind of illuminating. which we're going to get to in a second. Now, as we move down, we're going to see words written in Latin. We can't speak Latin. So why is it that on our bill and on a lot of our buildings that we have Latin writing? Well, that's another conspiracy in itself we're not going to get into. But what does it actually mean, the words? It means one out of many. Okay, it's pronounced pluribus unum, which means one out of many, which means that they're going to take many and they're going to create one. We're going to get to that in a second as well. We have two wings. We have a left wing and we have a right wing. Sound familiar? They're operated by one brain. This is an ancient war technique. It's called divide and conquer. Your vote is never counted, and this is how they control things. The occult is secretly controlling this by giving us the illusion that we're in fact voting. Okay, so that's what that means. Now, when we look at one wing, it has 32 feathers. The number 32 goes back to the 32 paths of wisdom in some occultic teachings. On the other wing, there are 33 feathers. 33 is symbolic for many reasons. In Freemasonry and in all secret societies, people have two primary reasons that they think this, though. One is that they killed Jesus when he was 33. So that's why they love the number 33, because that's essentially when they killed God in the flesh. Other people believe that 33 is representation of the fallen angels, 1/3 of the angels that have fallen. Now, we're going to notice that in the center here, we have the flag pointed down. Beneath that, we have 9 tail feathers. The number 9 has a lot of significance to the occult for many reasons, but most people conclude that it's representing the 9 custodiances of sciences of Earth. Okay? So, as we move to the left, up top it says, in God we trust. It doesn't say in Jesus we trust. It doesn't say in Yahweh we trust. It says in God we trust. And we know that Satan is the god of this world. So that's who it's referencing. Beneath it, we have 1. We have that shadowed lettering again. Let me get into what this is. At one time, people were one, and they built the Tower of Babel to make it to heaven to fight against God. So God dispersed everybody. He said, it's not good for y'all to just be one. So Satan wants to bring everybody together again as one to fight against God. So we have the shadow lettering because we were one before, and Satan wants to bring us as one once again. So this is why this is shadowed, and that's what 1 is significant to the occult with primarily. Okay, now let's go to the left here. We have the symbol of the pyramid. Now, the pyramid symbol represents secret societies anyway, so it's already a bad symbol. We're going to notice at the top of the pyramid, we have the all-seeing eye. Some people say it's the all-seeing eye of Amun-Ra. Some people say it's the all-seeing eye of Horus. Some people say it's the all-seeing eye of Satan. Satan wants to be like God. God can see everything. Some people say that it's symbolic of technology in a police state. Okay, the fact that it's illuminated. This goes into the Illuminati. This goes into the Satan being the light bearer, because Jesus is the light of the world. So Satan wants to be like him. So essentially, the idea of the Illuminati is that they're illuminated with the light of Lucifer, who is their god. Okay, some people would say that Jesus is the chief cornerstone, so Satan would be the chief capstone, because that would be the opposite. Some people would say if you research the word cornerstone long enough, you're going to come to the fact that cornerstone actually means capstone. But we're going to continue on with the video here. We're going to notice that above this, it says Annuus Coeptus, okay, which means he favors our undertakings. It means God's with us. We've already won because God's on our side. The God that's referencing is, in fact, Satan. Beneath the pyramid, it says Novus Olos Laclorum, which means New Order of the Ages, or the New World Order, okay? There are 13 levels of this pyramid, or 13 bricks to get to the top. We have our 13 again, which is very symbolic to the occult for many, many, many reasons, and people have a lot of theories on that, which we don't have time to get into. And then at the bottom, the Roman numerals equal 1776. Some people believe that that is the year that the Illuminati was founded, and there's other things that we're not going to get into as far as that as well. Some people will draw the hexagram over this symbol. They'll come up with the word Mason, and this is just what's on our dollar bill, and the wonderful symbology on there that, you know, I wouldn't have put on there if I were the one in office at the time. You wouldn't have put it on there. It's just all kind of there and very, very strange. Now let's actually see what Jesus says about our currency. In Mark 12:16-17, he says, who's on the money? Okay, they bring him money, and he says, who's on it? They said, well, Caesar. He says, okay, give to Caesar what is Caesar. So Jesus actually acknowledged the fact that our enemy's imagery is on our currency. Okay, acknowledging that these are the governments of Satan, making Jesus Christ himself a conspiracy theorist.